Most people pick keywords the wrong way. You think of a topic, you check how many people search it, you chase the big number, and then the post never moves because 40 other sites with way more authority already own that term. So let's flip it. This is what we'll end up with by the time we're done. A saved list of low competition keywords, the ones a site your size can genuinely rank for in your own niche, all in one place and ready to write against. You'll build one exactly like it, off a single question your buyers actually type. I'll be in KW Finder for the whole thing. We're going to do two simple moves. First, we run the search and read what we're up against, how hard it is, and who already holds the top spots. Then we cut the list down to only the winnable ones, group them, and save them. That's the difference between a list you can actually work from and a vague hunch about what to write next. Here's the part that quietly costs people the most, and almost nobody stops to add it up. The high-volume head terms, best AI podcast, whatever the big one in your space is, those are owned by sites with authority you can't outrank yet. You can pour a whole month into a post aimed at one of them, hit publish, and watch it sit on page 4 forever. That's a month of your life gone, for a result you were never going to get. The durable win is the quieter stuff. The lower volume, longer phrases a site your size can realistically rank for, where the pages above you aren't untouchable. Now, you've heard go after long tail plenty of times. Here's the part nobody actually explains. Why you can trust the difficulty number enough to bet your time on it. And that's the whole reason this works. KW Finder scores every keyword from 0 to 100. According to Mangools, that score isn't a guess about a topic. It's calculated from the real top 10 pages already ranking for that exact phrase. It reads the actual authority of those pages, how long their content is, the backlinks pointing at them. So when it tells you something is hard, it's telling you the specific pages standing in your way are strong. When it says something's gettable, the pages above you are beatable. And there's a reason a tool built this way fits someone in your seat. According to Mangools' own positioning, the whole point is per keyword accuracy and speed for the solo and the small team, not the enterprise crowd burning thousands a month on giant backlink databases. Which means the play here, filter down to the low difficulty long tail and go win it, is built for exactly the person who needs to find the queries the big budgets ignore. So you stop judging keywords by how loud they are. You start judging them by whether you can actually win them. That's the whole shift, and it's exactly what KW Finder is built to surface. So let's go pull it for your own niche, step by step. The tool I'm using here is KW Finder from Mangools. The link sits right below this video at stackauditors.com/mangools. There's a 10-day trial with full access and no card needed to start. The best way to do this is to open it right alongside me and run your own query as we go. So pick the one question your buyers type when they're ready to choose someone. Have it ready because we're about to put it in. First, let's run the actual search. The move is simple. Type the exact question your buyers type, then read 3 things off what comes back: how hard it is, how much traffic it pulls, and who already holds the top spots. So I open KW Finder on its keyword search. I set the country and language first. I'm on the United States and English here because difficulty changes depending on where you're competing. Then, in the box, I type the exact words a buyer would actually search. For our example, that's best AI podcast. Not a clever keyword, not a phrase stuffed with jargon, the literal sentence a real person types when they're looking for this. That's the whole trick to picking a seed. Use the words your customer uses, not the words a marketer would. With the country set and the query in, I run the search. Give it a second, and the picture of what you're walking into loads up. So here's the read. The difficulty comes back at 41 out of 100, which it labels possible. Not a gimme, but not a brick wall either. The traffic is around 1,600 searches a month, so there's real demand behind it. And this part right here is what that difficulty number is actually reading from. The real pages already holding the top spots for this exact phrase. You can see who is already up there. The big forums, the big publishers, the directories. That's your competition, named in black and white. Now here's the move most people skip. They read the head term, eyeball that, and stop. Don't stop there. Underneath the head term is a whole list of related phrases, and each one is a different shape of the same intent. Longer, more specific, and usually a lot easier to own than the big one. That's where the winnable stuff lives. But the related list is only one place to look. There's a second well that's even better for a small site. Switch over to the questions, and you get a completely different harvest. The actual questions people type, written out in plain words. These are gold for a smaller site because a clear question maps straight to a clear answer you can write a whole post around. Look at one of these rows. It's a real question in plain language, and it's a phrase you could genuinely own. Far more reachable than the head term we started on. And notice the header up top hasn't changed. Same difficulty, same traffic on the seed. So you haven't wandered off topic. You've stayed on the exact thing your buyers want. You've just found more doors into it. So that's the first half done. We typed one query, we read how hard it is and who's already there, and we pulled different lists of variants off it, related phrases and real questions. Now we've got far more than we can use, which is exactly the problem we want. Let's cut it down to the ones actually worth your time. Now let's narrow that pile down to only the ones you can actually win. Group them and save the keepers. So you walk away with a working list, not just a screenshot. This cutting down step is the whole job. Open the advanced filter, and the one control that matters is the difficulty cap. You leave everything else open. The traffic, the cost per click, all of it. And you set the ceiling low on the difficulty. The moment you do that, that pile of 100 plus variants collapses to a short list, a site your size can realistically rank for. The hard ones just disappear from view, and what's left is the stuff that's genuinely in reach. So I set a low ceiling on the difficulty, leave the rest alone, and apply that. Here's the rule worth keeping for the rest of your life as a writer. Filter first, group second, save last. Don't ever save raw search results. You will never sit down and work from a 100-row pile. You filter it to what's winnable first, and only then do you save. Okay, the list is down to the reachable ones. Next, let's group them so they're actually usable. With the list filtered down, group what's left by theme. Turn on the grouping, and instead of one flat pile of phrases, the survivors snap into tight little groups. One cluster for one angle, another cluster for a related angle, each with its own little count of how many keywords sit inside it. And that grouping does more for you than it first appears. A flat list of 50 phrases is overwhelming. You don't know where to start. But a handful of named groups? That's a content plan. Each group is basically one piece you could write, with the supporting phrases that belong under it already gathered up for you. So now you're not staring at a wall of keywords. You're looking at coherent batches you can plan real posts around. This group becomes one article, that group becomes another. Pick the groups you actually want to go after, and let's put them somewhere you'll come back to. Select the keepers. I grabbed around 15 of them across the groups I liked, and saved them into a list. You'll save the keepers under a name you'll remember later. Here I'm calling it AI Podcasts for our example, but yours would be whatever your niche actually is, the topic you'll be writing about for months. You pick that name once and drop them in, and that's the whole thing done. There's your list, saved, with a count and a date stamped on it, sitting in your lists panel waiting for you. You can come back to it anytime. Open it, add more to it, track how it's doing. That is the real payoff here. Not a screenshot you'll forget about by tomorrow, but a named, living list of winnable keywords you'll actually open the next time you sit down to write something. If you remember one thing from all of this, make it this. Don't pick keywords by how big the number is. Pick the ones you can actually win, then save them grouped so you actually work from the list. That's it. We ran one query and read how hard it really was and who was already sitting on top. Then we cut it down to the winnable ones, grouped them into real batches, and saved them under a name. That's the whole difference between guessing what to write and knowing it's got a real shot at ranking. So here's your move. Before you write your next post, go build your own list on the one query your buyers actually type. The link below takes you to stackauditors.com/mangools. Start the 10-day trial through it, no card, and put your real query in. Thanks for watching.